Hello, friends. This is Confessions with Amy, and I'm glad you're visiting my channel. Here we share new confessions every day.
You'll figure it out, Vega. You always do. But Lyra, she deserves a little more. That sentence burned into my skull like a branding iron. My mother didn't blink when she said it, standing over the marble kitchen island of our home in Portland, Oregon, her voice calm, even kind. I had just come home from my last final exam at Evergreen Business School. I was exhausted. I wanted to collapse on the couch, maybe cry from relief. Instead, I watched my parents finalize a bank transfer on their laptop, $87,620. The remaining balance of my sister's student loans, paid in full. And mine? Not a cent. I remember the way the light hit my sister Lyra's face when she smiled, so effortlessly radiant, like she was cast in some golden filter I'd never been given. She didn't look at me. She didn't even flinch. Like this was how it always should have been. I swallowed the acid in my throat. So you're paying off hers but not mine? My dad Everett, a real estate agent with a taste for Tesla and control, shut the laptop and gave me that look. The one that always came before he delivered a lesson. You're tougher, Vega. You don't need saving. They said it like a compliment. Like they were honoring me. But it didn't feel like honor. It felt like being left behind. Like being thrown into the ocean and told, you'll swim. Your sister's feet are tired, though. We'll give her the boat. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I went upstairs, shut the door to the attic bedroom I'd lived in since high school, and sat on the edge of the bed staring at the drywall until the sun set. Lyra's room was right beneath mine. I could hear her laughing with our mom through the vents. She'd gotten an offer at a marketing firm in Seattle. She'd be moving in 3 weeks. All her money could now go to rent, outfits, comfort. Me? I had nothing lined up. I'd spent the last 6 months working as a barista and juggling part-time internships, trying to scrape by. My GPA was higher than Lyra's. My capstone project had won the department's annual award, but none of that mattered in our house. They didn't say I was less. They just said she was more. That night, I opened my student loan dashboard. $91,407.62. I stared at the number until my vision blurred. And then, quietly, with no dramatic music, no tearful montage, I clicked the autopay setup and connected the only checking account I had. There wasn't enough money for even the first payment. But it didn't matter. I wasn't going to ask them for help. Not now. Not ever again. I'm telling you this not for sympathy, but so you understand one thing. The day they chose her was the day I began choosing myself. They wanted to bet on her? Fine. I would become someone they'd never be able to reach again. The next morning, I packed a duffel bag before the sun came up. 3 outfits, my laptop, a binder full of resumes, and a black moleskine notebook I'd filled with ideas during undergrad, financial tools for single moms, budgeting tips for college students, and a vague sketch of an app one once dreamed of building. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't write a note. I just left. The old Ford Taurus my uncle had given me before he passed away was already running when I slipped behind the wheel. It was still dark as I pulled out of our neighborhood. Tall trees, quiet driveways, the same mailbox I rode past every day for 18 years. And for the first time, I didn't look back. I drove to Boise. Don't ask me why. It wasn't glamorous, and I knew no one there. But I found a Craigslist listing for a basement studio, $530 a month, no lease, cash only. The landlord was a retired librarian who barely spoke. She handed me a key without asking a single question. That silence was the kindest thing anyone had given me in months. I got a job at a 24-hour diner on Overland Road, midnight to 8 a.m., 5 days a week. The place smelled like burnt coffee and regret, but the pay was steady, and I could eat for free if I didn't mind what the regulars called floor eggs. In the afternoons, I freelanced, helping small businesses build Excel models, analyze budgets, file taxes. Nothing fancy, just survival. I found clients on Reddit, Upwork, even Instagram. I charged too little at first, then slightly less too little. But every invoice paid meant one more dollar toward the loan that hung over my head like a guillotine. Sometimes I'd see college friends on Instagram, Miami vacations, girl boss job offers, rooftop brunches in Seattle or Chicago. Lyra was always there, smiling in perfect lighting, her new haircut glowing under a golden filter. She never reached out. Neither did our parents. I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt. But I wasn't here to feel better. I was here to build. One night, after a double shift, I came home to a flooded bathroom and a cracked phone screen. I was cold, exhausted, soaked, and still had 3 reports to finish before sunrise. That's the night something changed. Not a breakdown. Not a breakthrough. Just a decision. I wasn't going to live like this forever. If they weren't going to invest in me, I'd become a company worth investing in. I wrote on the first page of a new notebook. No one's coming. That's the good news. That means I can become anyone. And I meant it. I started to understand money in a way my professors never taught me. Not stocks. Not derivatives. Time. Effort. Choices. That's real compound interest. You trade exhaustion now for options later. My freelancing work grew slowly. I built cash flow sheets for florists, helped a tattoo artist in Cincinnati with inventory planning, even coached a man in Texas through his bankruptcy filings. Most of my clients came from posts I made at 2 a.m. when the diner was quiet and I had coffee, Wi-Fi, and just enough pain to stay awake. One night, I stayed up redesigning a budget tool I'd built in college. It was clunky but real. You could plug in your rent, groceries, student loans, and it would spit out 5 budget tiers from bare survival to get your damn life together. I named it Threadbare. Didn't think much of it. Posted a link on Reddit under a throwaway name. Within 48 hours, it had 3,000 downloads. People messaged me. Who built this? Can you make a version for freelancers? Do you offer coaching? I didn't, but I said yes anyway. I googled how to build a Stripe payment link and set up an Instagram page. I used my middle name, Ray, because I didn't want Lyra or my parents to find me. By week's end, I had 4 paying clients and an inbox full of accidental financial confessions from strangers. I'm 29 and still don't know how to save. I've been hiding debt from my wife. Is it too late to fix this? No, it's not too late, I wanted to scream. But no one helped me either. So now I help them. I worked every day for 13 months without a single full day off. No weekends. No holidays. I didn't get sick because I couldn't afford to. The loan? It was shrinking. Not fast, but steady. $91,000. $78,400. $63,200. And one day, $49,950. I took a screenshot of that one. It felt like crossing some invisible line. And then something weird happened. One of my Threadbare clients, a woman named Celine from Phoenix, told her friend, who ran a podcast for millennial women in finance. They asked me to do an interview. I said no. Twice. The third time, I agreed audio only, pseudonym only. The episode went viral. They called me the Invisible Advisor. After that, everything sped up. I hired someone, a 19-year-old community college student named Amina, to help me build out tools and manage the inbox. She worked remotely from her grandma's place in Tallahassee and sent me memes between spreadsheets. I started charging real money. I paid off half my loan. I could breathe again. And that's when my phone buzzed with a name I hadn't seen in over a year. Lyra. I didn't answer. I stared at her name until the screen went black. The voicemail came 2 hours later. Lyra's voice. Soft, unsure. Not the effortless golden girl from Portland, but something shakier. Hey, Vega. I don't really know where to start. I saw a post about Threadbare. Someone said your name, and I think it's you. I just wanted to say, I'm proud of you, and I miss you. Call me. She ended with a nervous laugh. That old tone, like nothing bad had ever happened. Like she hadn't looked through me that day in the kitchen. Like she hadn't let silence speak louder than any apology. I didn't delete it, but I didn't respond either. A week later, Mom emailed me. Subject line, come home for Thanksgiving? She attached a photo of our old dining room table, already set with candles and name cards. One of them said Vega in perfect cursive. As if I was just late. As if I'd only ever been late. She wrote, we'd love to see you. Lyra's back from Seattle. Things feel different now. Different. Not sorry. Not wrong. Just different. That same day, I got the official LLC papers in the mail for Threadbare Finance. I'd filed them 2 months ago and forgot all about it. It felt like poetic timing, a reminder of who I was, of who I'd become. That night, I called my dad. I don't know why. Maybe to give him a chance. Maybe to give myself a reason to shut the door for good. He picked up on the second ring. Vega, he said, like I'd just come back from the store. No surprise. No hesitation. I told him I'd paid off $54,000 in student loans in under 2 years. That Threadbare had over 20,000 users. That I had 2 employees and a waitlist for one-on-one coaching. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "That's incredible, honey. I always knew you had it in you." That was it. No recognition of what they'd done. No, we were wrong. Just a quiet pat on the head from a man who left me behind. I hung up, and I cried. Not because I needed them to be sorry, but because they never would be. Amina texted me later that night. "Client in San Diego wants to fly us out. Conference keynote. They'll pay." I said yes. I had no idea what I'd talk about, but I knew I wouldn't be home for Thanksgiving. San Diego was warm in a way Portland never was. Not just the sun, the feeling, the wide streets, the way people smiled like they weren't trying to prove anything. I stepped on stage at the conference wearing a black suit jacket I bought secondhand and a white shirt I ironed at a hotel with a towel because I didn't know how real conferences worked. There were 300 people in the audience. I talked about Threadbare, about budgeting for instability, about financial trauma, the way silence can bankrupt you faster than debt. I said, sometimes the best investment you make isn't in a stock. It's in refusing to repeat your parents' mistakes. Someone clapped. Then everyone did. And for the first time in years, I let myself feel it. After the event, a woman in her 50s pulled me aside. "You said you didn't come from money," she said, "but you speak like someone who owns the room." I smiled. I own my story. That's more valuable. That night, I sat alone on the balcony of the hotel, overlooking the city. My phone lit up. One new message. From Lyra. "I watched the conference. You were amazing. I get it now. I'm sorry I didn't then." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I closed the app. And I finally turned off notifications for all of them. I live in Los Angeles now. 2-bedroom apartment. Lots of light. One room is a real office. Amina's interning in person this summer. We go out for Korean barbecue once a week. She calls me boss, then laughs because neither of us really believes it. Threadbare passed 100,000 users last month. I'm not rich, but I'm free. My loans are paid off. I donate to scholarships for first-gen students, quietly, anonymously. I still don't talk to my parents. People ask if I'll ever forgive them. Maybe. But forgiveness doesn't require reunion. It just requires release. And I've released them. You don't owe anyone access to you just because they gave you a childhood. You don't have to stay in a story that was written without your name in the credits. You can walk away, start a new chapter, burn the map, and never leave a forwarding address.